Welcome to our webinar, Tuition, Financial Aid, and Scholarships. We're excited to have all of you joining us today. My name is Morgan Chavez Brannon with Parent and Family Relations, and our guests today are Brooks Gustafson from Student Financial Aid and Scholarships and Cheyenne Jackson from Student Business Services. This webinar is part of our Red Raider Family Webinar Series, where we share information on topics of interest to parents, families, and supporters of our students. We hope this information will help you better understand some of the financial support resources available to your students. We plan to keep this webinar to about 30 minutes or so, and if there is time at the end, we will open it up for questions using the Zoom Q&A feature. In the meantime, you may feel free to type in any of your questions throughout the presentation. We do have some folks behind the scenes working to answer those questions for you. We are also recording this session and will post it as well as the slides to our website after we are done today so that you will be able to review it again later and share it with others. We will also email the recording link directly to you so that you can view it that way as well. So let's begin. Brooks, I'll pass it to you.
Do it. All right. So yes, my name is Brooks Gustafson here in the financial aid office. Financial aid is a pretty complex thing, so my 10 or 12 minutes here is not going to cover everything. So please reach out to us. I've got some contact information on the last few slides about everything, or with the people that you can ask to get all of your questions answered. Hopefully, I get most of them here today. But orientation, we'll talk about that a little here in a sec. Is where you can really get a lot of your questions answered. All right, so this time of year for your students coming in August, you have a financial aid offer. It is out there. You can view it on RadarLink. The students of yours can view it on RadarLink. If you submitted FAFSA recently, it usually takes about a week for the FAFSA to get to us and get processed and things. Hopefully you've done it already. If you're having trouble finding your financial aid offer, please contact our office. We can help you find that. We can help you get through the steps to find the things that you need to. But just know that that's probably out there, and you just got to go find it and view it within that RadarLink. RadarLink is where you're going to do a lot of things. You're going to view your bill. Cheyenne will talk about that in a sec. You'll view your financial aid, you'll register for your classes. All that stuff is going to be in there for these students. So just make sure that they are comfortable in RadarLink and know their way around. Part of that offer is going to be cost of attendance. Cost of attendance is a budgetary tool and not your bill. All right. So cost of attendance is something that's great to help you plan for what your costs are going to be, 6 months ago or so. Now that you have picked your dorm, you've picked your meal plan, you're signing up for classes at orientation this summer, and your students will know a more exact bill cost rather than just cost of attendance. So if you take anything from this, just please know that cost of attendance is not your bill. Just a lot of different budgetary items, both direct costs and indirect costs that come into play there. Any scholarships or grants are going to be awarded in that RadarLink. Again, it's going to be offered there. And then if necessary, make sure your students are logging in there to complete any missing requirements, any missing documentation, those kind of things. They should be getting emails from us saying, "Hey, you have things to do. Log in and do them." But if not, we can talk to you about that when you come to orientation. All right. So because I think we just got a question about this, because the FAFSA uses 2-year-old information, so 26-27 FAFSA uses your 2024 tax information. Obviously, things can change during that time. So if something has changed in your household affecting your ability to pay for college, then this special circumstance is something that you will do with the university. You're not going to do this within the FAFSA. You're going to do this with Texas Tech. But it's something that we have the ability to update on your FAFSA, submit those changes to the Department of Ed. They recalculate that student aid index and hopefully get you some more aid eligibility. So there's a lot of different options. These are kind of the big ones that we get. Loss of employment. So you had a job in 2024 that you don't have anymore, or you started a new job that pays less, those kind of things. With the right documentation, we can update your FAFSA from what it was in 2024 to what it is now. Separation or divorce. So again, the student had two parent incomes in the household in 2024. Now there's only one. With the right documentation, we remove one of those two incomes, recalculate the information on the FAFSA, and hopefully get you some more aid offers. Medical expenses can be kind of tricky. This is after insurance, and you got to have all the bills and things like that come with it. But that's something that you can absolutely submit to us. Death of a spouse or parent, similar, and then deduction of a one-time payment. That would be like if you retired and cashed out a 401k in 2024, obviously you're not going to do that every year. And those are the things that we can reduce out to. So again, all this stuff is something you're going to do with the financial aid office rather than through your FAFSA. But please reach out to us again. That orientation, those individual meetings I'll talk about here in a sec, is a great time to get that information to us. All right, so you have applied, or your student has applied to every single scholarship on campus. It was built right into the admissions application. Those transcripts and test scores and all that stuff that you did, or your students did as part of that admissions app, is what everyone on campus is looking at for scholarships. So, university office, which is our office, your college, your department, all of them have awarded those scholarships already. If they haven't, they're doing it currently. The university scholarships have been awarded. Your college and departments kind of do them separately. They use the same information as us, but it's going to use same information. So you've done those already. The things that you need to know nowadays or this time of year is what you need to do to renew those scholarships for sophomore year, for junior year, for senior year. Those renewal requirements we'll talk about here in a second are under those scholarship grids. And then don't be discouraged if you didn't get anything from your college or your department your first year. You reapply to every single scholarship every single year. So freshman year, it's built into your admissions app, and then each year going forward, you apply the prior year. So freshman year, you apply to your sophomore year scholarships, sophomore for junior year, and so on. All right, this is our merit scholarship program. Again, if your students are eligible for this, these have already been awarded to them. The things that you need to take away from this slide is those renewal requirements down at the bottom. Whatever the dollar amount that your student has, those that range down there at the bottom is where you need to find the GPA and then the hour requirements. All of them require 30 Texas Tech hours. So fall, spring, and summer adding up to 30. If you've got a cool summer vacation plan, they need to knock those out fall, spring. You can do that. 15 hours in the fall, 15 hours in the spring is a pretty normal student workload, but just know that you have the summer to fall back on if you need to, like, hey, your GPA was just under the amount, take a summer class, get that GPA up, or you completed 27 hours, you need to take a summer class, you can. But that GPA and those TTU hours is what you need to do to renew that scholarship for this next year. The dollar amounts are always going to be the same. So if you qualify for $5,000, it's not going to increase or decrease throughout your time. It's always going to be $5,000. But as long as you're meeting those renewal requirements, then that $5,000 will be on your account for as long as your student's here. This next one, our transfer merit scholarships. This is for students who stopped somewhere after high school. So you graduated high school, you went to another 2 or 4 year school, and then you came to Texas Tech. You fall into that transfer population. If you're coming straight from high school to Texas Tech, no matter the dual credit hours, you fall into that freshman population on that previous slide. These are our transfer merit scholarships awarded based on your GPA and the hours within those. Or the hours that you took in the GPA within those hours, and then the renewal requirements are down there at the bottom, the GPA, and then the hours earned per term. External scholarships is a great way to make up the difference this time of year. Most federal aid has been awarded, state aid, scholarships, those kind of things have already been awarded for this upcoming year. So these external scholarships is a great way to add some money to the existing offer. That TTU scholarship universe, that first bullet point there, that is the best way to apply for scholarships this time of year. Your student has access to it as soon as they get admitted. So as soon as they set up that login information, they have access to Scholarship Universe. Scholarship Universe is like 17,000 external scholarships or something like that. Once your student gets in there, they will start answering some questions about themselves. The questions are kind of off the wall because it's the kind of stuff that we can't pull from GPAs and transcripts and test scores and those kind of things. And so if you're like, man, this is a weird question, yeah, I agree that some of them can be a little out there. But as you answer those questions, your student answer those questions, it's filtering that list from 17,000 down to the 25 or 30 that you meet the qualifications for. So if you don't answer any of those questions, you get to read through 17,000 applications and find the ones that fit. If you answer them, it makes that list a little more easy for you to digest, and you can go in there and do whatever's next. If you have external scholarships, so you have them from your student has them from a high school thing or a group or club or any of those kind of external scholarships, they can bring it to us at orientation. You can bring it to us when you move in August, or you can mail it to us. Feel free to take a picture of that. It's on our website too, our scholarship website. But that is where you need to mail those to us if you're mailing them to us. If you're mailing them to us, please include your name or the student's name and the student's R number. we get a lot of checks made out to Texas Tech for $1,000, and we have no idea who they're for. So please make sure that if that organization, whoever gave you those scholarships, make sure that they are including the name of the student and the parent. So yeah, external scholarships, great way to maximize your aid this time of year. So student loan options, again, hopefully we don't need these to pay the bill, but it's something that a lot of students do. So again, these individual meeting times during orientation is a great time to sit down with us and get all of these things sorted out. We can help project estimated costs for fall and spring, explore your options for covering what's left over after grants and scholarships, both student loans and then loans that parents can take out on behalf of their students. Kind of what to weigh the difference between federal loans, private loans, alternative loans, things to a local bank, like all those kind of things are things we could talk about, the perks of all of them. And then we begin awarding those things in early June. We haven't started that yet. But as soon as we start getting those, just because we get so many of them, as we get closer to the start of school, we try to get started as soon as we can. And then those master promissory note, MPN, and entrance counseling requirements are things that your students, if they accepted loans, through the FAFSA, then they've got some missing requirements saying they need to do those things. Those things come from the Department of Ed starting in mid-July or so. So even if you've done them, you still may see that you have those requirements. But just make sure that if you've done them and you know you've done them, don't need to worry about that. We'll start pulling those things in July or so to clear those notifications for 26, 27. So some important dates, and Cheyenne will talk more specifically about some of the SBS pieces, but you will get your bill in late July or so, kind of about a month before the first day of school. It'll have everything that you signed up for. So your dorm room, your meal plan, your classes that you signed up, parking, whatever it may be, is all going to be on there. That's going to be your actual bill. If it's coming from SBS, it's your actual bill. That cost of attendance that we talked about earlier is not your bill. The tricky thing is that we do not pay financial aid and scholarship to your account until 10 days before the first day of school. So you're going to get your bill about a month before the first day, and then we can't pay it until 10 days before the first day of school. So there's going to be a couple weeks in there where you're looking at your bill and you know you've done everything. You're like, why isn't this paid? We get a million phone calls about that during that time of year. So because I'm telling all 293 of you that are here today, you guys are not going to be part of those million phone calls, right? So just know that that's going to pay 10 days before the first day of school, as long as you've done all those missing requirements and things with your students. So just make sure that you're doing that. So we pay 10 days before the first day of school, and then the bill is due 3 days before the first day of school. So you got a week to go in there and pay the rest if you're going to pay out of pocket or sign up for payment plans, whatever it may be. Those 529 things that you'll do with SBS. But those are all the things that you need to take care of before that payment due date, about 3 days before the first day of school. Student employment's a great way for your students to put some money in their pockets. This is a great way to get them out of bed in the morning. They're going to have more free time than they've ever had. I can speak to experience here. I didn't need all that free time. I filled my day with these jobs, but this is a great way to you apply and you interview for these jobs just like you will in the real world. So this is pretty low stakes versions of that, but this is kind of things I can put on resumes and stuff going forward. Most of these jobs are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They're capped at 20 hours a week. All this money goes straight into their pocket. So this is money that they can spend on gas or plane trips back home to visit you, mom and dad, or you guys come out and visit them, whatever. But this is a great way to help fill the day. And again, because these are on-campus jobs, people are mindful that they are students first. You may make some more money waiting tables across the street at Chili's, but they probably don't care that you got a big test the next day. On campus, they're going to be like, hey, make up your hours later in the week. But student employment's a great way to put some extra money in your pocket without having to borrowing and do those things. So this is great, and these jobs are literally anything. You can give tours with admissions. You can answer phones in the financial aid office. You can lifeguard at the pool, at the rec. Like so many different things to do on campus. So many different ways to make money, and this is just a great way to get even more involved with what's going on campus. Okay, so every year, that FAFSA that you thought you were done with, you get to do that every year. If you want any federal or state aid, the FAFSA opens October 1st every single year, so you and your student can knock that out October 1st. It's kind of hard to fathom that you'll be about a month and a half into your first year of of school, and you get to start planning for how you're going to pay for your second year. The scholarship application and the FAFSA open October 1st every single year. The FAFSA stays open the entire year. The scholarship application closes on February 1st. So if that scholarship application isn't submitted by February 1st and we have a scholarship that's made for your student, we can't award it to them if they haven't applied. So making sure the FAFSA and that scholarship application are done on October 1st every year is going to make your life a whole lot easier. Doing that over Thanksgiving break, Christmas break is another great time to do that when you guys are home together and doing those things. But make sure you're knocking those things out every year by those deadlines. Okay, orientation. We'll see you all this summer at orientation. The first day of orientation is some resource fairs and some things. The second day is kind of where we get into the nitty gritty individual meetings. We have 5 or 6 advisors that go set up shop over there, and they sit down with you, and you can ask any questions you want to about what your aid looks like, what you need to. A lot of people are just like, hey, have we done everything we need to do? And if that's all you need to ask, then please come see us. We'll meet with everyone individually. SBS is there to answer some questions too. But those individual meetings is where you can really get into your student's account face to face with an advisor to make sure that you've done everything you need to. Your students have done everything they need to for next school year. Kind of talk about those special circumstances and things that we've talked about earlier. But orientation is a great time to take care of those things and then not have to stress about it the rest of the summer. Okay, so Red to Black is not a part of financial aid or part of SBS, but Red to Black is so great, and they assist us in great ways. I could go back and do anything in school. It would be me with these guys on the first day of school. So I'm not figuring this stuff out at 30. I'm figuring it out at 18. But this is peer-to-peer, student-to-student financial coaching, financial literacy. They will sit down with your student and be like, hey, you're making however much money in that 20-hour-a-week job. Let's make sure that you are spending that wisely, saving it properly, those kind of things. If it's as simple as making a budget, you can do that. And they can talk to you about college credit cards and repayment of loans after you graduate. Like you can get as in-depth or as base level as you want to with Red to Black. It's totally free to use, but it's a great resource for students, and it's peer-to-peer. So your students will like this because it's another student telling them how to spend their money, not their parents or a random guy on campus, right? So these Red to Black resources are so great. Somebody that we work with very closely, but make sure that you are meeting with Red to Black and getting those things taken care of. Yeah, and then here's just some general contact information. You don't need to walk over to West Hall when you're here for orientation. We set up shop in the sub for orientation. Once your students get to campus, they can come up here and walk over to West Hall. Emails, phone numbers, websites. That finaid.advisor email is the best way to reach us. That is an automated inbox that gets forwarded out to their advisor. If that advisor is out sick or on vacation, you'll get those questions answered by someone else. I know you may prefer to email an actual person, but that finaid.advisor is the way that we can guarantee that gets answered by your advisor or by someone who's filling in for them if someone's out sick. We had someone on maternity leave for a couple months. If you would have emailed her direct box, it wasn't going to get answered for a month. So that finaid.advisor is the best way to reach us. But thank you guys, and I know I got some questions to answer in the chat here as SBS gets going. But thank you guys for listening today.
Okay, hi everyone. There is a slight echo in this room, and I'm sorry, but hopefully it's not too bad. But we do have a link here on this slide for this presentation in case you want to reference it later. It's also on our last slide, just because it's a lot of information in a very short amount of time. So the most important date that you need to know is that payment due date is going to be August 19th. So this is 3 business days before the first day of class. And so this date you need to be paid in full, enrolled into a payment plan, or have enough of your financial aid accepted. That's going to cover at least 95% of your tuition and fees. So your student actually has to go into their view award aid package and accept those things and make sure that aid is pending to be paid out, because we do take that pending aid into consideration. If it's just in there as offered, that's different. So make sure that they accept what they need to accept. So some things your student can do to take care of some business is they can complete the financial responsibility agreement. This is essentially the terms and conditions of your bill It's something that pops up whenever you log into your e-bill. The global electronic consent form also pops up in your e-bill. This just allows you or allows us to do business with you electronically, like get you your 1098-T instead of waiting on that to come through snail mail. Our department, as well as a lot of other departments, communicate through the Texas Tech email. So we ask that those students get that added to like their phone or download the Outlook app and just kind of get used to checking that. A lot of important information does get sent through there. If you're expecting a refund of any kind, we also ask that you set up your My Direct Deposit. This lives in Greater Link where your bill lives. It's pretty close to there. But you get to put in the bank account information where you want this deposit to go. So if it's going to be the parent's account, it's a student's account, it's a savings account, grandma, grandpa, whoever, just let us know where you want us to send that so we can get it sent to you. If not, we do mail a check to the permanent address that we have on file. And so if your student needs that for like books and supplies, it's going to just take them longer to get it. If anyone's helping pay their student's bill, your student will need to add you as an authorized user. This will just give you your own login to view the bill, make payments, get in a payment plan, all of that kind of stuff. It is different than FERPA. So FERPA just allows us to give very specific and detailed information to anyone that's not the student, that the student has agreed to let us provide that information to. So if it's like a parent calling into our office, if you're on FERPA, we can give you all those exact details. So it's important to do. And then the e-bill will come out at the end of July, but we do ask that students check it kind of regularly because if you add a class or drop a class, that bill can change. And so students are billed per semester credit hour. So it's just important to kind of keep an eye on it and make sure everything kind of looks like you're expecting it to. So the e-bill lives here in your RadarLink account on the My Tech tab. My Tech is where students will go to like register for classes and things like that. Essentially, it's the most important tab in their RadarLink. But e-bill, it'll always pop up in a new window. It's where you can view the statements, get in a payment plan, add the authorized user, and then if you want tuition insurance, that's where you'll purchase it as well. I'll give you some more information about that in a minute. But we do have how-to guides for basically anything and everything in relation to your bill on our website. And so they include screenshots so you know you're on the right page and things like that too. So for payment methods, if you want to pay online, we do debit cards, web checks, and credit cards. Just note that credit cards are going to be the only one that have that additional processing fee with it. So just keep that in mind. If you want to pay in person, you can pay with a debit card, checks of all sorts and kinds, or with cash. And then if anyone's using a 529 payment, just know that we don't do like wire transfers. And so that 529 company is actually going to mail us a check. So if it is going to be overnighted, just note that our address is a little different for overnighting because FedEx and UPS can be a little finicky with our address. And so if you want it to get to us in that timely manner, just you can contact us or it's on our website as well, so you can find that. Since the bill doesn't come out until the end of July, you can use our tuition estimator tool as well. It'll give you a pretty accurate breakdown of your tuition and fees only. And so it does vary based on like the college that your student's taking courses through, which you can find all of that online as well to help you fill this out fairly accurately. If you're here at orientation, we can also help you with this to help you get a pretty good estimate as well. So we do have payment plan options. So payment plans, they're $25 to enroll into. If you're the student or an authorized user, you can enroll into the payment plan. There's never any interest or anything. It literally will just break up that student's entire bill into those installments, as you can see on like the right-hand side of that screen. It will remove your student from the risk of being canceled due to non-payment. So we do keep that in mind as well. And so if you have more questions about the payment plan, you can always reach out to us, but we can also assist you with those. So we also take care of our third-party sponsors. So this is like our federal and state military benefits. We do all of those. So if you're using any of those, you can contact us. Any prepaid plans like Texas Tomorrow Promise Fund, 529s, things of that nature, come through our office. We work a lot with Texas Workforce Commission, and then any international and domestic sponsors. Pretty much you need to just submit like a few like forms, and most of them are online already. And so it just takes a few minutes, but we can assist you with those as well. So we also take care of exemptions and waivers. So a lot of our most common ones are like bordering county, bordering state for Oklahoma and New Mexico. If anyone's a valedictorian, that's a waiver that comes through our office. We do all the like adoption and foster care waivers, and then like blind deaf waivers, any of that kind of stuff. You can send us a PDFs, or when you come to orientation, you can give us a paper copy, and we'll take care of that and get it applied to your account as well. So tuition insurance is actually pretty neat. It's about $120 for the semester. It covers if your student has like a chronic illness, if they get injured or get an illness during the semester and have to withdraw, if there's any mental health things that happen during the term and they have to go home, if there's been a death in the family, it covers that as well. And then if whoever's helping pay their tuition and fees, if they lose their job, it can help cover that. And so the claim form for this, it's like, I think a front and a back, maybe. It's super simple to do. And the company is very easy to work with, and it's just a good backup plan to have just in case. So every semester, tuition and fees are going to be due 3 business days prior to the first day of class. It's also always on the academic calendar when your payment's going to be due. If a student's ever at risk for being canceled due to non-payment, we do email them, we call them, like we will blow up their phone trying to get their attention. If your students set you as an authorized user, they can check for you to get these emails as well. So you will also get those email notifications. If a student is ever canceled due to non-payment, then their classes that they registered for are not guaranteed, and they have to re-register, and they could get a wonky little schedule or like all 8 a.m.s and then be kind of upset. And so if you're ever getting any of these notifications, just let us know, and we can try to work with you and get those resolved. So this is just how you contact us. We're in West Hall on the 3rd floor. We do have a call center. It has student staff and full-time staff members. If you ever leave us a voicemail, we do listen to those voicemails. We call you back. On our customer service portal, we have our chat feature that connects back to people in our office when our office is open. And so it's not just like AI responses all the time. On our customer service portal, you can submit a ticket. That's the same as emailing us, and we'll respond to you that way as well.
Well, thank you, Brooks and Cheyenne. It does look like we still have quite a few questions going on in the Q&A feature. So if you still have those questions, please continue submitting them. I did want to take a moment and highlight a couple of things that were discussed. Number one, if you have additional questions about Red to Black, they actually have done several webinars with us. Those are all available to view on our website if you want to get a little bit more information about what the coaching process looks like, what kind of information they can help your student with. They are an absolutely fantastic resource. Plus, they have written several different articles about things like preparing for college, as well as, transitioning from first year to second year. So they are a wealth of knowledge here on campus to help your Red Raider truly be aware of their finances and how far their money can go in a variety of different ways. And Cheyenne also mentioned the authorized user versus the Red Raider Family Network. I want to highlight that those are two separate logins. So your Red Raider will log in and set you up as an authorized user, and you'll have your own login for that to pay the bill. And the Red Raider Family Network is where you will log in to request a FERPA connection with them, and you can see that summary information as well as a wealth of other knowledge. That is our official communication platform for all parents and family members of Texas Tech students. So we highly encourage you to make sure that your account is fully set up. You may already have been getting some initial pushed emails, but go in and just make sure that your account is fully registered so that you can take full advantage of everything that is in there. Um, as we are wrapping up a little bit, we do want to ask that you take a few moments to complete our survey. Um, this just helps us know that we are staying on track with y'all and getting you the information that you need. If you have additional questions after we are done today, um, you have all of our contact information there right at the bottom of the screen. You can contact Parent and Family Relations, Student Business Services, or Student Financial Aid and Scholarships. And the staff in each of these offices are happy to help you and support you and your Red Raider.